just wanna free my mind.
Yo, this your Grammy DW says.
This your boy Cliff the Gift, slanging that wood, not that stick. Your man might keep it 100, but you see me, I'm gonna give you that extra inch. I am the man, the myth that hasn't won before and it won't be one since. Today we are here with our man, Mike Greene.
Who is Mike Greene? Who is Mike Greene?
Mike Greene is a storyteller which equals out to a writer, director, and also, what was the third one, Mike?
Editor, probably.
Editor.
You edit too?
Oh yeah.
Oh snap! Okay.
That was the third.
We can get some because I want to learn about it, more editing. I like that route because people be but we gonna get on that. But that's dope. I was more focused on everyone eats, eats. AKA Mr. Everyone Eats. Everybody, everyone eats. Mike B. Greene is in the building, y'all.
Everyone can eat.
Everyone can eat.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Because everyone can eat, but everyone doesn't eat.
That's true.
That is true. You ain't wrong when you're right.
Yeah.
But what's been up, man? How you been? It's been a minute since I've been
I know.
I saw you. I
missed those. That was a fun. Feels like 8 months worth of shooting. Not straight.
Yeah.
But we were shooting for a minute.
Yeah. It's I got the pleasure to meet Michael V. Greene. I'm gonna keep saying your whole name like that. Michael V. Greene on this feature. Was that your first feature you got to direct on, or second? Okay. So what before that? What did you used to direct on? Was it commercial?
No, I've definitely done commercials, but my first feature was a movie called Live. Mm-hmm. The original title was Linda Johnson is Live. Hindsight, we should have stuck with that though, because from a search standpoint, mm-hmm. if you look up Live, like you just go to Prime or Apple, you get everybody's live concert, everything that's live. So it doesn't really work for the algorithm. So I think that kind of hurt us in our release. But it's called Live.
What year was this?
It came out in 2018.
Okay.
Yep.
2018. That's amazing. So
right before COVID and everything else coming in, right? So
yeah, for the release, yeah.
How did that affect the release?
I think that was just kind of an interesting transition anyway, because first of all, it's a found footage film. So it was everything you saw on there, actually, we thought we were brilliant with it. Everything you see in the film was on a Facebook timeline. Mm. So for Linda Johnson, so we made up
real life.
Yeah, it was a character played by my wife, and we just basically populated a timeline for the course of a year. But in that timeline, I mean, ultimately, she gets abducted while doing a live stream on Facebook, and that's kind of the premise of the movie. So. And then there's a detective who was a real private detective who was actually looking for her. I'm trying to find her. And it's all seen through social media and security cameras.
I think I saw that movie.
I hope you saw it. I don't know.
This is
no. I think I saw a movie. I like that. I think I saw it.
It's on Tubi. It's on,
I literally think I saw it. That was your wife?
Is that a black woman?
Yes.
Beautiful black woman? Yeah, that's my wife.
I mean, I'm married too, so, the only beautiful one. Yeah, I got you. I know, yeah, I get you. I'm just talking, yeah. But yeah, I saw that. I didn't even know I was working. That's dope.
Okay.
All right, check you out. And I got you in the crib. Shout out to us.
Sean produced that too.
Sean
was one of our producers, yeah.
Dang, that's crash show. Did watch that movie. I was like.
But that was, and our ending, I mean, we wanted to have like a cliffhanger, mm-hmm. thinking, we're going to get a part 2 out of this, but it just didn't track very well, Mm. And the idea was like, just let's make something with the resources that we have available to us, and that's what we did. I mean, it was just like, one of the producers, like cousin, owned Sammy's cameras, and so we got hooked up with the gear. That was a SAG project too, which is kind of
wow.
Weird. We kind of cheated there too. We only had a couple days that were like, this is our official shoot days. But my wife and I, we were shooting that stuff like constantly. So
that's dope. You know how you just said it like, yeah, we just did what we had to do. We just put it out there. the fact that you actually got it done, like, that's pretty a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that just talk about it and they never put any action, like me with Poop Patrol. But, you know, because I want to do this thing called Poop Patrol. I can stand out here and patrol the streets of the shit levers and stuff like that, and it'll actually be pretty funny, but it's just like, I ain't got time to be really getting into it with people, but I also don't want to act it out either. I don't know.
But as a fellow dog owner, I get it.
Yeah. It's
nasty.
if
you're getting blamed for everybody else not even picking up after their dogs, typically, you know. But it was a thing that I just got fed up with trying to get certain projects off the ground. I'm outside of the Hollywood system, so like nobody's. Maybe after Clicker comes out, maybe someone's gonna give us some love, but. So we've had to do everything ourselves. And so I just said, we have to put something out. And for me, it was like if Orson Welles was to put out like War of the Worlds that was done over a radio show in the 2000s, he would have done it on Facebook or Instagram. But at that time, it was Facebook Live. Figured out to do live streams with actually pre-recorded material, which was kind of cool.
What production, you know, like A24, they got this little style of their production, and you just know it's like, oh, that's an A24 style.
Love A24.
So, like, when you vision stuff like that, like, what is your niche that, like, they be like, oh, that's a Michael V. Greene production, or like, that was him. What's different? Like, what makes your style your style?
I don't know yet. I really don't know. I mean, I think that just my objective to telling a story is going to be that I want to tell the best story possible. So, like, there's no way I'm going to put my name on something that's just, like, not a well-told story.
Got you.
Even in live, I mean, it's all, like, Facebook stuff. It's security cameras, but I felt like we told a story.
How do you feel with AI in creating stories? Like, do you feel like it's a true competition to the real thought, or do you think it's just a tool to help add on?
That's a good question.
I think that AI is a trip. I mean, I'm using
Sona
AI images right now on just on a like a docuseries pilot that I just shot with Skeeter, actually.
Do a whole music video.
And I'm using AI imagery for a pitch deck that I'm using right now. And it was just kind of like Adobe gave me this 30-day, like Adobe stock footage or whatever, right? And I'm getting like my free 30 days and pulling images down. And I'm like, wait a second, like 80% of these images are AI. It's crazy.
Yeah, you know where they got them from? When everybody was like, let me go make this little cartoon feature. Let me sign up for this little thing to see how I look this little AI. That's where they got them from. They built their database.
It's kind of scary.
They built their database when they did that shit. I didn't sign up.
It's really scary. And I'm even seeing AI models on Instagram that's like blowing my mind because
it's so close.
I'm not too shocked about that, because like when I saw the way that people act over anime, I was like, oh, AI is gonna go out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you really think about it.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm not like Skeeter's
Are you against it?
No, I don't. Not necessarily. I haven't had to go up against it, I guess, at this point. So I you know, I've even tried to on that free. What's that free Chat GPT thing?
Yeah, Chat GPT. I fuck
like,
with it.
Well, I was like, let's see what script for Quentin Tarantino's like the prequel to, or not probably Kill Bill 3. Mm-hmm. You know, when the daughter grows up, who's she gonna get revenge on? I was like, spit that out and just see what it comes out. But I think I overloaded the system, and I had the free version, so it was just like, we're not giving you this. All you got to do is tweak it, though. Like, I feel like you got to use it or you lose it. You got to adapt or you're going to get left behind. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like AI, I feel like ChatGPT and things like that are sort of like a calculator. You know what I mean? If you have a problem in front of you, you can solve it with this tool. And it can help you, but if you don't really know how to use that tool the same way somebody else knows how to use that tool, you know, there'll be a whole lot further ahead of you. So that's why I say I think it's more so of a learning curve and something that's going to be put in everything that we do.
Because you got to know how to talk to it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's the key thing because a lot of people don't know how to talk. And I was like, it's gonna take over. It's like, not really. You really got to know how to talk to it and tell it what you want for it to spit out this extravagant piece of,
But I asked you that to go to the beginning and ask you, in deciding to be a director and deciding to become a storyteller, that's hard without having AI. You know what I'm saying? Today, it could be easy to just say, I want to be a storyteller. And you could just go to your computer and type. Like, what was the inspiration to get you to doing what you do today?
It really started on September 11th.
Wow.
Yeah, I was getting on a plane that morning in Newark Airport.
Wow.
I was going up to visit some accounts up in Toronto, getting on the plane, and then they had us get off the plane and then get out of the airport. And so I saw everything from Newark Airport, saw the towers fall, and I was in the garment industry. So I come from a completely different career. I was working for Coogee, Australia. You guys know Coogee?
Coogee.
Yeah.
So I was running, I had all their distribution I was controlling their distribution for Canada. And then they were coming out with a new line called Coogee Signature that we were launching that week during Fashion Week, because that was Fashion Week. And I was shooting up, our show was on Thursday. I was shooting up to Canada that Monday morning, to check out some retailers up there. And then, and it really changed my life, because at that point, I was like basically just using my business degree for business. Mm-hmm. And I hated it. Like my friends in the garment industry were like the storytellers in their own right, the designers. Mm-hmm. Like they would create, and I'm like, that's where I want to be. I want to create something. So I was like writing an article for this magazine called Unleashed, called The Trench Report, like fashion from the trenches, because I was all over the country and I kind of had a pulse on it. But I realized at that moment, because leading up to that fashion show, which never happened, it got canceled. But like the weekend before and some of the week before that, just the shallowness of that business kind of like fucked my head up, because here we are. First of all, they were dropping like $300,000 on this fashion show, on a show. Mm-hmm. To launch this collection. They're spending money.
People were spending it at that time,
a lot of money, right?
Spending it now.
Yeah. Well, 50% of their business was in the New York area, which ultimately hurt them. But I just remember, like, we're going through picking models, like runway models. And these are like top tier A-list fashion models, and just being so nitpicky, like about who gets to be in our show, who we're paying for, who we're not. And then just looking back on it, I was like, none of that shit mattered. And then, am I doing what I really want to do in life? And at that point, I realized, no, it's not what I want to do. Coogee ended up, they had to lay people off after that. Their business, I think they ended up getting bought by...
Couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you.
Oh, no, they got bought by Samsung. Well, Fubu and Samsung. Samsung owns Fubu, and then Fubu bought Coogee, basically. So anyway,
oh wow, no, that's
so that got me kind of like thinking. And then around that same time, a friend of mine, my wife was actually shooting a movie in Chicago, and a friend of mine. Thanks. I'm probably gonna have to take this jacket off. It starts to heat up in here.
Yeah, well, yeah, you got that AC on. You got that AC on. Yeah.
So anyway, I survived like another couple years in the business. I worked for Mark Buchanan, Pelly Pelly, launched a new collection for them.
You was in the fashion industry.
Yeah. The urban fashion, deep into that. And then MCM, that kind of kicked it off for me. Michael Kromer Munich. But I transitioned out of it. I had a friend shooting a movie. My wife was in it. It was completely guerrilla style, like no permits, no permission. 2003, we ended up, like, I basically came in after they shot it, but still got a producer credit because I bought the G5 or whatever, the Apple Mac G5. Mm-hmm. The dude edited it himself. I drove him out here from Chicago. He stayed with us, finished the film, and then we actually got it licensed in 2003, probably the worst time to try and get a film licensed, and no stars, nothing, and we still got it licensed. So I was like, and we made great money off of that. I mean, we spent $15,000, I think, on that film, and got like a $50,000 straight to video license. And I was like, I'm hooked. I can do this. You know? And the process between like creating a clothing line and like creating a film is very similar. You're basically putting something into something.
Yeah, pre-production.
And hoping that someone's going to buy it at the end. You know? So I got bit by the bug then.
Yeah. I was like, because I just want to go on there. Like your set, it was pretty fun. I met some amazing people. Like it was like, I learned a lot. It was like school. I like to say, don't go anywhere where you're not, you know, where you can't like learn or, you know, grow. It was a learning experience, and I liked that. It was like really great. Like it was just dope. And some amazing people. I
learned so much doing that film because I've never had the blessing of like a crew like that.
It was like real family. It didn't feel like work. Like I was
saying that was a small crew.
Was it?
That's what they say. Like 45 people. They're like, no man, crew. Like that's a small crew. I was like,
I like it like that. Then it felt like family.
I've never had. I'm a one man band. That's how I came up. Like when I got tired of like having to rely on editors, I'm like, I'm gonna shoot a short film to teach myself how to edit.
Hey, you sound like me and Cliff here. Like
that's what you have to do.
Literally self-taught.
Because ultimately, in the end, learning everything through YouTube University. Because I didn't go to school for film production.
Right. We went to school. That's how I met my.
But I didn't, you know. But I mean, my dad's a photographer. Like as a hobby, he's
you was in the military
videos.
Though, right?
Yeah, I was military.
Yeah, so there you go. That's why I went. That's why I went to school to get that GI Bill. I wasn't just gonna let it sit there, you know. So
no, it was great. I mean, in Illinois, I was in the Army National Guard, but in Illinois, when I went, you could go to a state school while you're in the National Guard, and they cover your tuition and fees, like just up front.
That's dope.
It was great. So
one thing I noticed too about you, like through everything you said when you started into the business of film, is about. You had the business side together as well, because you came from business. How important is that for younger filmmakers, you think, to actually pay attention to, or to even focus on, or not? Is it something to think about?
Some people just be focused on creating. Like, fuck the business side. Let me just get this done.
But the thing is, I think that until you get to a point where you have your people that are handling part of the business, like the biggest thing I've been trying to get away from is producing. Like I produced, I was trying to bring in people to produce live, because I wanted to focus on creating and telling the story. I wanted to not have to produce Clica, which technically I'm not a producer on there because I'm a SAG signatory producer. So technically I'm not a producer, but I produced that, and I didn't want to have to. I don't want to. I want other people to do that because, and even the business side of it, it's like, yeah, I got an idea of what needs to be done from a promotion and marketing standpoint, but I mean everything nowadays is like, how do you have access to the audience? Which is. If you don't have access to the audience, you could be the best marketer on the planet. But if your stuff doesn't go viral, or you can't get someone to we thought when Linda Johnson was abducted, like dragged out of her bathroom live on Facebook streaming, she had 2,500 friends at that point.
Yeah,
nobody called it. We were literally I had called somebody we knew at LAPD, this captain. We're like, hey. You get any calls about a woman getting abducted, on Facebook, like we're just shooting a film and, it's like, it's not real. I've really thought I might go to jail. They might come figure out, geolocate us. Like, it's happening from here. Let's get this guy. I literally thought it was going to happen. Nothing. Like, literally nothing. And nobody, 2,500, no, she had 3,500 friends. I'm sorry. Nobody even... people DM'd her like, "Hey,
you all right?
That's
okay?"
That's a different story we can speak to if you really want to get on.
Well, it was horrible because, and then one of my boys,
because the cops don't show up to you dead.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they don't show up to you dead.
If you're selling water, illegally, or you're like in a park barbecuing or something, like cops will show up for that, right? They didn't show this woman. She's getting dragged out of her bathroom, and it's on live streaming. And maybe we only had 50 people watching a live stream, let's just say, but 50 people saw this, and people are like, wow, this is crazy. Wow, what's going? And then
I got my door kicked in. It took them 2 hours to come in. They understaffed. If it's in LA, they understaffed. They not coming for no bullshit. They only coming if you dead.
What's that say though? Now, if it was in Brentwood, Beverly Hills, they would have get there a little quicker. And the thing is,
true.
And this dude, who one of my closest friends growing up, he didn't realize this account was my wife wearing a wig. And he doesn't really know my wife. He knows her from social media or whatever, right? But he's never met my wife, right? It's like one of those friends you grow up with, and then you're like cool with them. You could pick up where you left off. But I haven't gone back. I haven't seen him in years, right? This dude called Linda Johnson and left a voice message after it happened. Hey, yo, Linda, yeah, what's up? You know, it's your boy Keithy D. You know, just want to check in, see if you're okay. You know, I'll fly you out to Chicago, you know, and take care of you. And
Macking during the kidnapping is wild.
It's nasty.
This is what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, like
nasty business.
And I never blew him up on that, but I was like, dude, you're kind of like. That's kind of.
I had a battle buddy that kind of played me like that, and it was like a good battle buddy too. I stopped talking to him. I was like, I don't give a fuck if it's this old. Don't disrespect me like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of crazy.
That's what I'm saying. And I mean, Sean and I managed the profile, by the way. So I feel for women in social media. Dick pics. Just the aggressiveness of people trying to get with you. I never get that shit in my own stuff. People don't give a fuck.
I mean, that says you might not be hot enough, Mike. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta do some more push-ups.
Somebody was calling my wife's Facebook, and like I was like, it kept calling, and it's like a foreign, like out of country type thing.
Got a lot of those, yeah.
She picks up, and the dude's just playing with his thing, and I was just like,
oh my God.
I'm like, yo, if first off, if you're gonna be, playing with it, make sure it's a giant one. Don't be disrespectful with that little shit. I told him that. Right. I'm like, I'm not mad at it. If you're gonna show something off, show something off. Don't be showing that off though. Come on, don't be disrespectful. What's wrong with that? And that's why I don't want to be a man. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk like this. A man couldn't say that. Well, I'm just being real.
When your inbox fill up with people who's. Remember that you said you don't mind as long as it's.
Hey, I'm just letting you know. You send a dick pic over here. Me and all my friends on Instagram finna see that thing. If I gotta see it, you gotta see it too.
You share with everybody but me because I don't want to see.
Oh, it's getting on there. Anyway, so storyteller. Can you expound on the importance of storytelling? You know who I think does very well storytelling during Super Bowl commercials?
Who?
Budweiser or Bud Light is one of them. They always got like a little touching dog story.
They
say no words. They say no words, but it's just like the visuals and how they put it. Yeah.
The songs, the music.
Can you explain like the difference between like just doing it with visuals versus, you telling the story verbally, or you just showing it? Can you explain that? Is it, or like, what's your style?
Well, what I learned on Clica was early on as we were shooting, and what a blessing that like Jimmy Humilde like basically empowered us to make this, like, which sometimes I question. I'm like, dude, why do you have Sean and I writing this? Why you got a white dude directing this? It's a little bit, because if you look at his
sometimes
staff,
we need the white dude to get in the door.
But look at his staff. They're all Mexican-American or Mexicans. Like, he is very proud about that, like supporting. So I thought that was a little odd, but Skeeter and I he had explained it. We shot that. We shot a test scene. And Jimmy was just like, whoever shot that, that's how long you guys shooting the movie.
Yeah, he believed in you.
Yeah. And Lalo was supposed to shoot that day.
I would have thought you were...
and Lalo showed up late.
Oh, so that's how
So we shot it. He showed up. We were done. We're like... Lalo, dude, it's first of all, it was like 110 degrees in Paramount. We were at the compound, so you know how hot that was, right? Yeah. How hot it gets. So we're literally shooting that in the shade, breaking all the rules, the 180 degree line. We didn't care because we were like, we need to put cameras in the shade, you know, and
just so they can get the vision.
He showed up kind of late, and we're like, dude, we're done, dude. Like,
can you speak on that importance of like being on time and being prepared too? Because I be trying to tell motherfuckers, hey man, be on time, you know, so you ain't gotta, you know, miss out on opportunities and stuff. They don't be taking me serious around there.
Yeah, I think being on time is super critical because, I mean, you saw what would happen if somebody wasn't there on time, right? It kind of threw us off.
I worked on a production where sound was late for 2 hours because they were also the caterer too. And I'm just like, that shit was pretty wild to me. What?
Sometimes it's like that though. I mean, unfortunately.
He was 3 hours late? See, I was giving him grace. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think punctuality is super important. But I will tell you, the experience of directing that and having like to give up, because I'm so much about control. Especially when you do everything yourself, you're like, I don't want to give up control. I don't want to give this up. And then just having to let people do their jobs. But then even in that sense, it's like, even if you are relying on people to do the job, you still got to like check on it sometimes, you know. There were continuity issues, you know, and there were things that just shouldn't have been happening. But what I learned doing that ultimately was just not anybody could have pulled that off, period. And from the standpoint of like telling the story is that, well, what Sean and I wrote was, we thought was a good script, and still you started seeing, wait a second, we're going from this scene, there's one spot, to another scene, there's another spot, but there's nothing in between.
So you got to add some more.
And it doesn't make any sense. Like, even just to me, it was like the transitional scenes became so important to this movie to make it tell a story to where you're not just in one location and then showing up in another location. That's why we were shooting JD walking places. We had that one day where all we were doing was like shooting him walking up to his house.
Like montage.
In the morning. Yeah, well, we were just shooting moments that we needed to just kind of like buffer the story. And that's what I started realizing, like, when you're reading it, you're like, you know, oh, this works. And then when you actually see it laid out, you're like, wait a second, we need transitional moments.
Yeah.
They're huge.
You learn that part in the editing process, though, when you take it to and you get the viewing the footage. That's when, and people don't be understanding that too, like the editors. You can speak to that too, because you learn how to edit.
Yeah.
Because I be editing too part-time sometimes and like helping people. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? Like, what were they doing when they were in here shooting? Like, who was in there? And like the editors but editors get a lot of flack too, because it's like, shut up, you just in a fucking room, in a dark room, just editing, you know? And it's like,
I think editing is probably the, I mean, there's a
pre-production.
You write one story, you shoot another story, and you edit a completely different story. Like, literally,
what
the
editor can make the story.
Yeah, you're going to see is not
what you wrote.
What we wrote. I mean, there's some stuff in there, but, I mean, you could see, too, to your point about pre-production, we didn't really have pre-production.
Yeah.
Like, we were just kind of thrown into this, and I would say never shoot a feature film until you do a table read.
Yeah.
Because we could have
eliminated a lot of time
shooting like a couple months later. Oh, let's add these scenes. Another couple months later, let's shoot. Look, if we knew we were going to probably have to reshoot the beatdown scene, right? We kind of knew that half a day in 110 degrees.
I think they shot that like 3 times. Huh?
Wasn't twice.
Twice?
But it wasn't enough time to do stunts, and I remember the actors were like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna break this guy, because JD he's a small guy. I mean, he's tiny. I don't think he's 120 pounds.
Yeah, JD, shout out JD, doing his own stunts and stuff, huh?
He was doing his own stunts, but he also was like, but the interesting thing about that too was like, he was like, well, look guys, just don't like slam my head on my face on the car too hard, because I don't want to mess it up. And we're like, dude, we're not even gonna. We would never literally slam your face on the car. But the idea is like, well, that's what doing your own stunts is. Like, you may have to like get popped or something. And I'm like, no. The idea is that we don't want to hurt you at all because we don't want to like, break something or.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like. You got to prepare for everything, right? One of the actors, I believe, even got injured, so that had to set us back a little bit,
Dude, that was
you got to prepare for everything.
But we had basically this actor, Peter Greene, was coming in from New York. We were flying him in. We had him for 2 days and 2 days only. That was it. And the day we pre-rehearsed the scene, not with him, but like earlier in the week with the stunt coordinator, with the stunt double, with JD there, and we worked it all out. And then the day that we're shooting it, we go through like a 3/4 speed blocking rehearsal, and
shit happens.
I mean, Cameron just he goes up to like he's gonna do the kick, and then he just falls out, and I'm like, is he having a heart attack? Like he just dropped to the ground, and it was like I didn't hear anything, but he's like, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? And he had tore his Achilles. Damn. Complete tear. And fortunately, we had a set medic. Like, I was like, no, we're not going to have people out here in 110 degrees and not have a set medic. Like, that's not going down. I don't care where you got to have the money for that. Like, that's crazy. But so, fortunately, we had a set medic. But then we're just like, wait a second. We've already shot the scene after this in Nickerson Gardens. Like, we're not reshooting that. Like it was great, and we're not going to be able to reshoot that. So now, are we going to have like, how Tubi like gets shit on for continuity issues?
I go to straight Tubi movies before I go to Netflix now. I don't know, call me trash or whatever.
No, it's great. But some of the things you see are these weird continuity issues. Like
it's horrible.
A dude's like literally opening up a door.
Yeah, and they
wearing
point
one
it out.
suit, and then he gets in the door and he's wearing a whole other suit and he's got a different hairstyle. It's like, what is happening here? So. We knew because we have Vivian, what's her name? Vivian.
Just call her Vivian. I don't know.
Yeah, so we have Vivian. She's this Lemoni or so Vivian something. So she's like she's playing one of the cops, and she's Latino, and then we got Cameron, who's like mixed but looks Latino. They both have like long pulled back hair. They're both literally the same complexion, and so but they're in the same scene together. But he pops his Achilles, and then if we just it would have looked like if we just had him show up in the next scene, it would have looked like Tubi. Like, damn, they just traded out the cop and put a man in there. Like
sometimes you need those though. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes you need those moments just to go viral and make people go check your shit out. I kid you not. 'Cause then people go back. I'm on Facebook. Yeah. It's so many like...
It would have looked like we did that though. Like, damn, they couldn't even get like a female actor.
And guess what? Man. Anytime they mess up like that, what is it? It goes viral on Instagram or it goes viral and we see it.
When the
and
wig was different, the dude was getting beat up and he had braids.
We go see it.
He went from afro to braids and just getting beat up on the ground.
I don't know. Sometimes, yeah.
I can't do that though.
Sometimes you might need to do it, man. Just to, hey, we know we did
it.
I can't do it. So we had
a movie, bro.
Yeah, no, I believe that. So we had to like figure out how do we fix this.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, we're gonna pick up Smith on the way, and so we looked like we picked him up, and like they needed him to drop him off at Nickerson. I don't know. So
Nickerson is
biggest housing projects west of Mississippi.
There you go. Did you know that?
I know it's the biggest.
And you can't just shoot. You could go get a film permit to shoot in there. You can't shoot in there.
Yeah, you got to get permission, man. You know when they be like the rappers got to check in. I'm pretty sure you got to check in with somebody from Nickerson.
Oh yeah, and I shot music video there before, and that was like you literally they don't care about permits. There are so many cameras around there, LAPD cameras. They don't care as long as you got permission. I shot a music video over there where we're pulling out guns, running down the middle of like. Compton, because Compton runs right in there. It runs right in front of it. We're in that little convenience store running out of there with
Compton
guns.
Ave, not Compton Boulevard.
Compton Ave, and no one showed up. We got to shoot all that stuff, but it's because we had permission from the right people. So
yeah, it's LA,
Yeah, I stayed
LA
in
culture
Compton
is
for a
different.
minute.
Yeah.
But the Nickersons, I wasn't over in that part.
We're both from Louisiana, so like it's crazy
What
that well, I'm from Zachary, he's from Baton Rouge.
Yeah, well, I'm from Baker, Scotlandville area, Allison.
You could just say Baton Rouge. I tell everybody Baton Rouge because that's what they know, but
Baton
it's just
Rouge,
literally
yeah.
15 minutes away.
Where are you from? Where
Zachary.
Where's Zachary?
It's like literally 15 minutes away from Baton Rouge. So it's Zachary, Baker, and
up in
Baton
the
Rouge.
swampland or something? Up in the swampland?
Baton Rouge.
It's literally 15. I wouldn't even say it's the country. I'm from the country.
Hey, I went down to the Bayou Classic when I was in college.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Southern Grambling.
But
we still do that.
we stayed at a spot. This dude was living in Baton Rouge at Southern, but he went to Southern Baton Rouge.
I was
so
in
we-
Southern Band,
So we stayed there and then drove over to New Orleans every morning. I'd never slept for like
Good
that
time,
whole
right?
weekend. It was
Yeah.
great times, and this is when this is probably before you were even born, but this is they have gone from like you could get 40 ounces to the 64 ounce private stock.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't even know what private stock is, do you? Private stock is a malt liquor.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't know. All
You know
I know
what private
is
stock is?
Nah.
You know what OE is? OE?
Yeah, I know
what
okay.
OE is.
So private stock was like
no. Private stock is like steel. The steel one is the silver can.
Like,
No,
211,
private stock is
you're talking
green.
about
211.
Green
Yeah.
with a green label says private stock.
Nah.
So private stock has just come out with 64 ounces. So we all loaded up our 64 ounces and we drove from Baton Rouge and we would drink them by the time completely illegally. If we would have got stopped, we were going to jail. We would drive along and that highway from Baton Rouge to New
that long
Orleans was like,
bridge.
yeah, you got that bridge. It's like, we're driving through the swamps.
Yeah, it's worse.
It was crazy.
Driving to Lafayette. I hate to drive to Lafayette because the bridge is way longer. I hate that drive. But yeah, man, we got to go back out there. You going to Essence Festival? You ever went to Essence Festival?
No, I would like to though.
I
I tried to go to the Jazz
I
Festival.
want to go. I never been
Essence
as an
Festival
adult.
better than Jazz Festival.
Okay.
You
I
ever
was
ate
trying
at
to
a?
surprise my wife. Like, I got us tickets, you know, because I used to get free airline tickets and
Jazz.
stuff. And
You should take
she
her to
was like,
Essence.
I don't want to go. I don't want to leave our baby. I'm like, damn.
The babies are grown now, right?
Oh yeah, they're all grown.
Yeah. How long you been married?
It'll be 30 years in October.
30 years, bro. You look 32. You look amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like you look really
I got a lot
good.
of gray hair that I'm hiding.
I got gray hair too. I don't
Don't
care.
got
I've been
gray
having
hair
it since
like
I was
this.
18.
Well, that's true. Premature gray. People do. I mean,
Yeah, I get it from
Yeah.
my daddy.
My mom. I
I'm
get it from
grayed
my mom.
out. And my mom still dyes her, and she calls me. It was like, "What you doing with all that gray hair?" I say, "You'll look like this too if you stop dyeing yours." You know, don't be shaming me because I embrace mine. But yeah, 30 years of marriage. Can we like speak on that a little bit? Like, how do you get to 30 years of marriage? Because that is not no easy task. Not giving up, I know for sure.
Well, see, I think it has to do with, yeah, you can't give up because, I mean, there's so many problems. I mean, we've been through some hard shit. And I think it's just that if your peaks outweigh the valleys in the relationship, that, you know, you can win in a sense. And you hopefully don't do something that's so bad, that catastrophic, that you can't get over. Because we're all going to make mistakes. I've made my share of mistakes. So is my wife. You know, so we just
We're humans.
Yeah, we just
Humans.
yeah we're humans. But it's also like, how do you, you know, how can you get beyond that? And I was just in it. I'm a Leo, so I think there is a loyalty thing too. You know.
It's your fellow
I'm
Leo
Leo,
brother.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
When's
August
your
7th.
Okay, August 20th. So
Okay.
I'm on the end of the tail end of it. But
Got two brothers born on the exact same day. Yeah, exactly 3 years apart.
Oh, wow.
That's a story. for
Okay.
another time.
yeah, so I think there's something to that if you're into that kind of astrological stuff. I mean, I'm very, very loyal, 100%. So
That's literally what this man. Oh my goodness, that's all he say. I'm just loyal, man. I don't know. I'm just loyal.
to where it's probably to my detriment sometimes. You know, like I can like to me, it's like if somebody shows me who they are,
It's easy.
it's easier. Yeah, I'm like, well, now I know. So, because sometimes my wife is like, why are you still dealing with that person? I'm like, because, you know what? I know who they are now. It's the worst when, like, in Chicago, it's harder to navigate Chicago than it is to, let's say, like the Deep South. Because in the Deep South, at least you know, someone would look at us and hate the fact that my wife and I are together, right? Chicago, you don't have any idea if, I mean, there are some people that are pretty bold, especially when they have like a group of people and they feel like I got courage now to say something. But it's the smiles,
The fake shit.
and you just have no idea how fucking much they hate that. So that's, I'd just rather know who you are, and then I can deal with that.
Yeah, once I know who you are, I'd rather not deal with that shit. I got to protect my peace. I'm big on my sanity and all that stuff.
And to that point, yes, 100%. But it's also like have an exit strategy for that. Like I'm not going to sabotage, for instance, our next project because I got an issue with somebody on the project, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to get people that are passive aggressive and they're not going to be direct.
Yeah, I don't like that. I like direct people.
Yeah, I hear you. I like directness.
Like, you going to get more from me when you telling me what it is. Don't sugarcoat shit with me because it's shit, Why are we sugarcoating shit?
Because you know why they do it out here? Because this is the land of the 6-month maybes.
Instead of them telling you no, we'll see.
Maybe.
Because they want to see how far you can get without them first. Or how far can you go? And, if you get hot, then, all right, yeah, cool, I'll jump on now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hardest place to get directions is in L.A. Easiest place is New York. You know why? Because New Yorker will tell you, if they don't know, I don't know, get the fuck out of my face.
I don't know.
LA, they're like, I don't want to piss that person off. So I don't know where I'm going to send you, but you know what? If you go this way and then take it right, it's up there.
I don't know. I
and
must
they'll
be
send
meant
you
to
in the wrong direction.
I must be meant to go to like be in New York because like everybody that I have encountered in New York, we've been cool. Like I haven't met no rude people, no assholes. Shut up. I haven't met no rude people, no assholes or nothing. Like we just understand, And I'm not with that fake shit.
Bring them New York mentality out here. There's nothing wrong with that, There's
I thought
nothing wrong with being direct, but you are going to run into people who are not direct.
It's way more less direct people.
Horrible. It's horrible. It bugs the shit out of me.
And that's why, because I'm an Aries, I'm a fire sign too. I wouldn't say I'm feisty, but I'm just like I'd rather be difficult to get over on. I'd rather be difficult to get over on than easy to get over on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just finna come over here and just run all over me. I'm not that person. And a lot of people don't like that when you stand up for yourself and speak up. And not
a lot of people don't. You're absolutely right. That is,
yeah.
We see that every day. And also hindsight is 20/20 too. We also learn sometimes when things happen to us, we may be like, damn, I wish I would have done something differently.
Had healthy boundaries.
Yeah, but I just can't be the one like, let me, but if you ever wondering, me personally, Amber Dawn Wilcox, if you ever wondering like, man, I wonder if she being cool with me because I might have a gig for her. No. It's just not me. Like, if we ain't meshing well, we not meshing well, and that's just what it is. I'm not finna like hold on to something because like, no, this person got me a lot of gigs. That's fake shit. I just can't do it. Like, I'd rather go. I'm just saying, like, I just got a whole different mentality. I just can't let nobody shit on me because they dangling something over my head. Like, I just can't do that.
That's good.
Like,
no,
and that bothers people though. You know what I'm saying? Like that they can't like, oh, they dangling this and it fucks with people that they can't do that. It's like, yeah, you can't control me with that type of shit. You be seeing what's going on with the P. Diddy situation. Not to bash him or anything, but
don't do P. Diddy like that.
No, I'm just saying he has helped out a lot of people. He's changed a lot of people's lives, and he's changed a lot of people's lives. You know what I'm saying?
I tried to. Speaking of him, I tried to. So,
are you gonna tell his story?
I got a story. I encountered him before. Okay. So when Garment Industry Days, this is when he had Sean John already, but I had a little bit of ownership in the license for MCM. Do you know what MCM is?
Yeah, we know.
Okay,
MCM.
so it's bigger now, right? Mm-hmm. This is the late 90s or mid 90s, and we, like our first production run, there was a defective part on the jean, made in Italy. We had denim coming. It was defective. So the factory's like, well, so send back the bottoms. We're like, well, you can't sell the tops without the bottoms because this is like the matchy era. Like, we're like, everything's got to match. Like, and so.
No style.
So we really were behind the 8 ball during that whole time going into our next like production run in the spring. We were killing it though. Like that put me on a national scope where people were like, where did you come from? Like, how'd you get that? Because MCM wasn't big since like the 80s, and Dapper Dan, when he was making like the out of the material, making jackets and fits and stuff. But so we were like, well, Puffy, it was Puffy at the time, was like, well, he might be interested in like buying our license or investing in our license. We needed cash flow. And I met him at Justin's, I think. He had a little restaurant or something called Justin's.
In New York?
Yeah, it was in New York. And big indicator for me is your handshake. And I
Elaborate.
shook his hand, and it was like this.
Oh.
No, shake my hand like you shake hand. It was like that. It was, yeah, you see how you're looking? Like,
Yeah.
like, to me, that has always been like a legit indicator of like you are shady. Like if you're coming at me and like you don't have a firm handshake, and I was like, whoa, that was weird to me. That was weird, and that always immediately was like a red flag for me. Nothing ultimately even happened with it, but because we were even approaching Nas to potentially buy it. You know, he had a production, you know, he had a line, but no one had like you were literally, there was Coogee, Iceberg, and MCM.
Nobody ever wore Sean John in the South.
Nah,
Sean John was huge in the Midwest. And the
yeah,
East
nobody
Coast.
in the South.
Huge.
It was always
like,
Air Force Ones.
I almost repped the Sean John.
No S. Doc. No, I'm sorry, I'm lying. Even Boosie had a verse. No S. Doc Carter. Like he was even shitting on the Sean John, the Sean Carter shoes that he had.
They wore the Sean John velour outfits. That was it.
Oh, the Sean John velours were nice. I mean, it had, but it was like, yeah, he just. I mean, it was. You know, we were before our time on the MCM stuff, but that all fell apart eventually. But I met him, shook his hand, and it was just a weird thing. I've had that a couple of times. I'm like, oh,
I don't know, man. You gotta.
People try to say your handshake too hard. Cause I done had that happen when somebody was like, "Man, you got to grip me."
I've had some grip, some hand.
Somebody I don't like when they grip too
Towns,
hard.
I'm gonna tell you, Norman Towns, who's in the movie.
Yeah.
That dude is he's so fucking strong. It's just like, damn, him and Rebel. Remember Rebel?
Yeah, I fuck Rebel.
Like, in the scene where they, like, dap up, it just sounds like thunder clapping. So, and I'm just like, both of them are like, damn, both of the hands are like, I would hate to be hit with them by anything. And
because Rebel box. He's a trainer.
boxes,
Yeah, he's a trainer.
But he's also just so fucking hard. Like, there's like, literally, he said he was a bone crusher. And I'm like, I believe it. Like,
I believe it too.
You when you say that, because I'm like, it's hard to even shake hands with them because you're like, it's like grabbing onto like just like steel almost, and it's just, I'm like, damn, man. And Norman's the same way. Don't ever have Norman crack your back.
Somebody had shook my
He tried
hand.
to crack my back, and I thought he was gonna break ribs. I'm like, dude, you have to stop. Like, you're squeezing me too hard. Like, I feel like something's about to break.
When I had graduated, I had bust my ass. I was in WeHo, and like the sidewalk is kind of like iffy. It's like a high sidewalk, and then you can like literally fall off if you take the wrong step.
Right.
So I don't know what happened. I had some Doc Martens on, and like I don't know. I fell the wrong way, and these two bent all the way back. So like they still messed up. It was on a set. It was on Clicker. Somebody shook my hand, and I was like, hey, don't ever shake my hand that hard ever in your damn life, bro. Like, my shit fucked up. But they had a firm grip, and I was like, you didn't even have to do that.
It's probably Norman, because he doesn't even know.
Yeah, I don't even know who it was. I don't remember. I was like, you don't even have to do that. I'm a woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm a lady. Fuck that. I'm a lady. Don't ever...
Hey, I get...
Matter of fact, grip my shit like this.
Right. There you go. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, Skeeter side, he was like, you need to wrap that up. Let him know it's injured. You know, like, nah, it's cool. I'm trying to fight through it.
Oh, were you getting swollen?
I don't know what's going on, but this has been acting up. It's been like thriving lately. It's been like over a year now since I fell and did this. It's like messed up.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
You did some damage.
It's messed up. I'm not lying. You know,
I got this knuckle is messed up in the Army.
Yeah.
Someone stole. You know how they say never like. Remember how they were like, this was advanced training, AIT. So they were like, don't put your cash in your wall locker. That was telling us, like, don't put your cash.
We didn't have cash. We had these little debit cards when I went.
Good for you. So we had to we had
checks. Debit cards.
We got checks, and you had to basically cash your check.
Yeah,
and no one had an account where you did AIT, so you cashed it for cash, right?
Yeah.
And this dude, and it was just like one of those things where it's like he's looking, he's just in our room, he just sees me putting the cash in my wallet, and I'm just thinking, this is a country boy from Montana, he ain't gonna rob me. Or I'm just thinking I trusted him,
and you thought wrong.
And I could just see in his eyes he was watching too closely, but he ended up stealing my shit. And I couldn't prove it. And I was so angry, though, because it was like $600 or something, man. I was so angry that I punched the wall locker, which this immovable. Those wall lockers are like immovable.
we never punch objects.
You
punch the person.
Yeah. But I was so angry, I punched the wall locker, and but I knew something had happened, but I didn't want to get recycled because if you don't get through your push-ups, the running, no problem. The sit-ups, no problem. But if I couldn't get through the push-ups, they won't graduate you, and then you get recycled. And I had to go to school. I was like, it was in between my freshman and sophomore year. I did AIT. They let me split it up. So I was like, I can't not go back to school. So I just had to grin and bear it, and I never got it fixed. And it gets better. I would have said it'll get better.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
10 years from now,
it's still better. Like I'm feeling it right here.
It looks like a football injury. Yeah, it looks like your tendon.
I literally
you can't straighten it out.
No, but I got ET fingers anyway. This one looked like that one too, but this one is really fucked up. Yeah, it's messed up.
Well, if you ever break something, get the rehab done.
Yeah, they messed me up.
Man, you saw the dude throwing the rocks on the freeway.
Did you see that?
Yeah, the dude throwing the rocks on the freeway, and then the motorcycle hit it early in the morning. He was going like 50, 60 miles an hour. He just flips off his bike in the middle of the freeway on the 101.
When was this?
This was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, like 2-3 days ago.
That's horrible.
Right on the 101, I think.
On the 101.
Yeah,
did we send it to one another?
Yeah, we sent it to each other. Yeah.
I mean, I believe it. That's horrible. I mean, they've been like
he caused like 3 or 4 flat tires on different cars, plus the motorcycle dude who
like just throwing rocks, and he's not gonna go to jail. You could have killed somebody. That's attempted murder.
That is very much
that's attempted murder.
That's horrible. They caught him?
No, and that was like the motorcycle man didn't come forward or anything
to come forward too. I think they did catch the man.
But what are they gonna do? They just gonna put him back out on the road.
Yeah, I think they did catch the man.
But are you voting this year?
Oh, you better believe it.
Okay,
I vote in all the elections
because I've been listening to so many podcasts, and they'll be like, "So you voting?" They be like, "No." It's like, what are y'all doing?
It just comes down to this: either you voting for like whether it's status quo or whatever it is, you're either voting to kind of keep it this way, and then maybe we can make some improvements later, or you're voting basically to upend democracy, because if Trump gets back in, he ain't leaving. He's not leaving. I was just on jury duty last week, and even as much
it's harder to get on jury duty than it is to be a cop. But go ahead.
Well, I know. I'm like, it is. I'm literally sitting in there, and I'm just like,
how did you even get there?
Well, I got to the room, right, to where they picked the jury.
I've never even made it there. I just got the notifications.
I made it to that room,
wow.
But see, this is the thing that we all have implicit bias. Like, we are kind of the way that we are bombarded. For instance, about objectifying women in this country, we are bombarded from day one to objectify women. Period. Advertising,
Johnny Bravo,
everything from day one. So it's hard not to objectify a woman because that's all we've ever been kind of programmed in a way, right? So we have these implicit biases. Even me, okay, Mr. Ally, BLM since 1980. Okay,
Magic City.
That's how I've been. Like, that's how long I've been down, and not like just for out of curiosity's sake, raised by a black surrogate mother, right? Like, that's how deep it is for me. And when they walked the whole jury into the room to see, it was like a prosecutor at a table. I'm like, well, they're sitting there by themselves, so she's the prosecutor. And then there was a black man and a white woman sitting at the table. And I'm like, okay, he's not going to be on trial, and she must be his lawyer. Now, why would I think that? They were both dressed nice. Why would I think he was? And I was right. He is the one on trial. But why would I automatically assume that?
I mean, can you be upset if it's facts? They be like if a stereotype is true.
But it wasn't even a stereotype. It's an implicit bias. In other words, and I didn't even think about it until I was like,
I automatically think about Young Thug right now. When you in any image you see of Young Thug, who's sitting next to him?
I don't know.
A white male or a white woman. It's never.
Well, and you ain't gonna look at Young Thug and think he should be defending nobody,
right?
Well, I got you. But this guy looked like he was probably in his 40s. There's no tats. There's nothing. Just dressed nicely. Yeah. But I just assumed
probably killed the whole family of 5.
But I didn't. No, it was nothing like that. But I didn't even think of until. And I liked his defense attorney because she immediately said, hey, when you first walked in here, did you assume he was innocent or did you assume he's in here for doing something, right? And she was trying to pound home like, hey, you are assumed innocent until they have to prove that you're guilty. But my first assumption is, I wonder what they got him on. Like, they arrested him for some reason. But that is, and once she said that, then I was like, to myself, I'm like, fuck, well, why do I even think that he was the guy when I first walked in here?
Because we're programmed.
It's implicit bias, right?
That's what that means.
It is. It's implicit bias, for sure. So, but no, I mean, it was funny because they were like, they start asking you all these questions and stuff, and the attorney said, so if it's like, how many kids you got? And I was like, I have 3. And she said, so if one of your kids was like, someone called you up and said, hey, one of your kids robbed a bank, I'd be like, and I just said, well, 2 out of 3 of them, I'd say no way. And everybody laughed at that because they're like, well, who's this third kid of yours, right? And nothing against her as my middle child. I just know I could see her. She's kind of criminal-minded, kind of like me in a way. Like, I did some criminal stuff in the day. Like, I could just see her getting caught up on something potentially. So it wouldn't surprise. But my other 2, there's no way in hell. Even if you have video evidence, I'd have to be like, well, someone put them up to it. There was something. They were being blackmailed. There's no way they would do it. I don't care if you have it was fingerprints, AI.
It was AI.
There's no way you're convincing me that 2 of my kids did it. One of them, I could see her on some, what's the set it off shit.
That's me from my mom.
I can see her doing some set it off shit. Just, and I wouldn't even have blamed her for, like, I get it. Beat the system. If you can beat the system, insurance will cover it. It's not really stealing. So I want to tell you something though, because I know that we got some people that potentially are like, I know you want to be a DP potentially,
director.
So I'm gonna tell you the moment I realized that I definitely wanted to direct.
Okay.
So, because this is important. This is a really good story. So I've been doing commercial casting for probably 13, 14 years out here in LA. Commercial casting is an absolute flesh factory. I mean, it is literally, when you think of, like, you might see 100 people in a day for one role, and you got to get through. And so you got to be really quick. So I have ADHD. Great job for ADHD because you're constantly behind the gun and you got someone coming in and it's like, okay.
Do you got a prescription for Adderall?
I do. Can't feel it.
Wait, you got Adderall?
No, you can't. I can't feel it.
Oh, shit.
You know where to get it, something? Because I don't. There's not a pharmacy in LA that you can get that shit. And every time you ask them, I'm like, at my grocery store, hey, you guys got Adderall yet? Nope. Picking up a prescription for my wife at CVS. You got Adderall yet? Nope. And they're looking at me like I'm fucking crazy, like, you fucking addict. You just want to get high.
No, it helps you focus. No.
For me, it was a game changer, but I didn't even know I had it until the pandemic when I stopped casting. Because I'm just like, oh, this is why I waited till the last minute to study for exams. This is why I wait till the last minute to drive somewhere. Not today, though. I still have a little stash of Adderall. It kept me focused. I was here early. This is unique to me. I'm like, oh, Waze says I can get there in 40 minutes. I'm leaving with 35 minutes to spare, and I'll still get there. I'll be focused, though, driving. So the commercial casting, so you have session directors, which what I mainly did. I was a casting director. I was casting Nissan stuff, but I realized I don't want to be a casting director. Just like I realized 6 months into working at a talent agency, I didn't want to do that either. Like I knew from jump, I don't want to be a talent agent. I don't want to be a casting director. Casting director, commercial stuff, good money though.
Mm-hmm.
Like
commercials probably pay very well.
Great money. Like I did like a quarter of the work the 1 year I did it as casting, and I was like a quarter of the work made more than what I made as a session director. Like I was like, this is nice. But I didn't want to do that. But so I say I got my master's degree in directing by running sessions for commercials, because you gotta like basically you want to give the actor an opportunity to say, all right, this is my interpretation of what the script is or what you want us to do. You give an explanation. I let them kind of do their thing, and then I will give them direction to get them from what they thought is the right idea to do to where the decision makers, the director, the ad agency, where they decide, like, this is what they are looking for, right? And it's a whole other episode when I tell you how black and other non-white people are treated in commercial casting.
You don't have to tell, bro. You don't have to tell me. I'm black.
Crazy though.
I know.
It's insane. What you find out early is that most of these creatives don't have a single non-white person of any significance in their life. So their only interaction or understanding of who you are is what they see on commercials. So if you don't act like what they see in commercials, they don't even see you. Mm-hmm. They literally will be looking at you like, why does that person sound that way? Like, I got two stories to tell you. Mm-hmm. So one is, and I'm going to tell you this story because this shit was fucking crazy. So this is a perfect example of, and so this is maybe 10 years ago, if that. Mm-hmm. State Farm is doing a commercial campaign where basically it's for LeBron James, and it's basically they're casting someone who's going to play the Maverick role, kind of like a guy from who grew up with him, who can tell LeBron how it is without fluff or whatever, right? Like, I'm not going to be fluff. Like I'm going to be straight. I'm going to be straight with you. I'm going to amber you.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to be amber.
I like that. I'm a bird.
I'm going to amber you, right? And so they bring in, so Anissa Williams is casting this. Shout out to Anissa. She's like a wonderful person, right? Cut her teeth on In Living Color. Do you remember In Living Color? Mm-hmm. Okay. As a casting director, black casting director, black commercial casting director, does a lot of commercials. So they, back before Zoom, so they were doing, you had to go to special spots where you could get, like they would do like streaming, like video conference basically. So the ad agency, the director, they're in New York, and they're plucking the top young black talent in LA. So it's Tory Brothers, it's Pooch Hall.
I remember Pooch. He played on The Game.
The Game, yep. And another, like a Showtime movie or series. I'll think of it in a second. D-Ray
Davis.
He was pissed at me because I didn't know.
D-Ray's pretty old, and he looks amazing for his age.
He does, but he was kind of salty at me because I was like, I went out in the lobby and I recognized the Tory Brothers. I recognized Pooch. I had known
Joe Torre.
Yeah, Guy and Joe Torre. And I recognized Pooch because he used to come in a lot commercially. And so he even dabbed, oh, what's up, Greene, whatever. You know, I'm like, what's up? And I'm like, and what's your name?
Wait, to D-Ray? Oh, wow. Yeah, I feel him.
But D-Ray hadn't even, he wasn't that big at that point.
He had just been on Jerry Springer probably at the time.
I mean, it was just kind of like, I was like, he looked kind of familiar, but I was like, and what's your name? And he was like, I'm D-Ray, man. And he was kind of salty about that. And especially because he came in the room and I was trying to look up his name on the chart, like on the thing. And they don't even have pictures next to it. So I'm just looking. And I did it again when he showed up in the room. I'm like, what's your name again? He was like, man.
Yeah, all right, the second time I feel him.
And Anissa was like, but that's my ADHD or whatever. You know, I'm not even remembering names 2 seconds away. I remember Cliff, though. So I remember that name. But I don't remember.
Because you remember cliffhangers.
Zach?
Damn, Zach, you're
how
not.
can I forget Zach?
You're not memorable, bro.
I don't think I've ever met a black man named Zach.
I was about to say, you don't meet too many black Zach except the Power Rangers.
I have not.
You know, Zach
Power
is
Rangers,
a mix, actually. You wouldn't even know who he was mixed with. Go ahead and
Oh, keep going? Okay.
No. What do you think he's mixed with? He's mixed. He's not full black.
Guess what race he is?
Yeah, guess what race he is?
Well, I would say probably some kind of like Samoan and black or something like that.
Oh, he's
or Asian and black.
Yeah, Asian.
Or Asian and black. Okay.
Zachy Chan.
Which Asian? Chinese. Oh, Chinese and black. Okay. All right. So you in the Tiger Woods zone or something like kind of like.
Yeah, he's.
Tiger Woods is like
You got
all
actually
that
chocolate
mixture or whatever. Yeah, but anyway, so he was pissed or whatever. But so Pooch Hall comes in, right? And so Pooch Hall, a lot of people don't know him for his comedy, but he's got like really subtle nuances to when he does comedy. Like he's really good at the stuff. Ray Donovan, he was on Ray Donovan series regular for years.
Ray Donovan.
Yeah.
Oh shit, y'all gotta like. He was all right. Well, Ray Donovan, great Showtime series. No,
Never
he's
heard of
a
Ray
fixer.
Donovan.
It's basically like Ray Donovan. He's like a fixer for LA, and it's like an LA show or whatever, you know. Or what, but anyway, Pooch comes in. This is like 10 years ago, so he's got the game fame at this point. And this is a big deal. And the director, you can hear him when Pooch walks in the room. You just hear the voice, and that's the thing is like you hear the director's voice, and he's like. Because they never want to be on camera. They never want people to see them. And you could just hear him, oh, what's up, Pooch? Pooch. And Pooch is like, who's that? Like, who the fuck is his voice, right? And he's like, it's so-and-so. Oh, and Pooch is like, oh, shit. Like, they had worked on a commercial back in the day or something. And so Pooch is like, oh, what's up, man? What's up? Right? So he's like, I just want to see what you do your thing, man. And so Pooch does his thing. Like, he does whatever what he's supposed to do. And then you hear like the guy like, oh, Pooch, nice job. But you know what? We want to see a little more swagger in what you do. Code word. Code word.
Yeah.
For a black woman, it's give us more attitude. Okay.
I already know what it means.
You already know what it means, right?
You don't have to tell me.
So Pooch, you can just see the lights go out in his eyes. He's like, oh, okay, this motherfucker, right? And you just see, so then he's like, he puts up his hoodie and he just does this very exaggerated caricature of himself. It's fucking humiliating, right? And you can hear the guy chuckling and yeah. You hear him like reacting to his performance. And then after he's done, he's like, yeah, Pooch, that's it, Pooch. You killed it, you crushed it, right? So I'm looking over at Anissa, and Anissa knows me. We're cool. She knows my wife. She knows all my history. I've been working for her like good 5-6 years at that point, right? She's looking over at me. I'm looking at her. She's like, you could just see she's embarrassed. She's just, her fucking soul is crushed over this. So it was a fairly quick callback. It was straight to callbacks too. Like they're going to make the decision based on this tape, right? So you get everybody, we run through everybody fairly quickly. That smells like your dog might have just farted.
Tell your story.
I think one of your dogs farted.
Nah, that smell like shit.
Nah, he farted or something, but you know, dogs fart too. So you go through the whole. Like, I don't know, the callback was done in 30 minutes, and it's that way the entire time. Everybody gets kind of the same. Like, I want to see more swagger, and each time you could just see it was just breaking Anissa, and this has been in the game for a minute. And so it's weird because we leave at the same time and we end up at a stoplight next to each other, me and Anissa Williams. Mm-hmm. And she looks over, she sees me, and she rolls down her window, I roll down my window, and she's like, Michael, if they wanted him to N-word that shit up, I wish they'd just say it. Mm-hmm. Just say it to our face. And
not say swagger.
And she was crying. She was so upset. Because it's like at some point, it just beats you down because you hear it and you see it. And that happened so much in casting, that kind of shit. And you're just like, fuck, man, these people are just fucking clueless. I swear, you're like, the shit I could tell you, it's just like, you would be like, there is no way in hell that happened.
But that's why I think that
on a commercial, we're talking advertising, we're talking major brands.
It's a lot of tone deaf shit.
And now they could just get the people for free because it's people on social media who are willing to just character themselves up.
A lot of stuff gets away, yeah.
And they
a
can
lot
just,
of stuff.
Hey, you promote our product. You already make a fool of yourself every day. Like, here you go.
Yeah. Well, I think we're coming back to commercials, though, because you look at Tubi.
Mm. I do watch Tubi.
You got to sit through the commercials. You can't. You can't fast forward them. And if Hulu, you can't fast forward them.
But that's how Tubi makes their money because they don't make you sign up. They don't make you. You only have to sign up if you want to continue to where you're watching, which is pretty a plus.
AVOD.
Everything's
They have a mandate. I'm gonna tell you, they have a mandate. And you might be working on something if we do it. I'm going to be calling. I'm going to be requesting you.
Come on.
I'm just letting you know.
I appreciate it.
We're going to shoot in Kentucky.
Hell okay bring me in. Okay. I eat some KFC.
All right. So, but Tubi has a new mandate. They have said they want to be the Netflix of the AVOD world. That's what they want to do. So they want to do original programming. So falling into something is kind of weird. I've fallen into something. So we will know something shortly about that. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you how I know I wanted to be a director, okay? Because this is a crazy story. So there was a VW campaign, and
what is VW?
Volkswagen.
Okay.
And so it's for Paul Hunter. Paul Hunter is a pretty famous music video director, turned into a big-time commercial director, got fired off his first feature film, so, and never directed another feature again. Okay.
Like Oprah.
More power to him. He started as a production assistant in the music video world when they had legit budgets and worked his way up to shooting music videos and famous music videos, like some of the biggest you ever saw in probably the 90s. So we're doing this VW campaign, and the VW campaign is basically it's an engaged couple, and there's some tension between them. Okay, like something's not right. And that's a great starting point because then they get happier at the end. So you see kind of a beginning, middle, and an end to the story, right? And it happened to be for a casting director that I will rename. I'm not going to name this casting director, but either you got casting directors who are cool and allow you to kind of do what you do, and then you got the micromanagers. She was a micromanager, and she was a micromanager who she would roll into the she would just bust open the door and cuss out the actor. That's not how you want to do it. You need to direct them better. And it would just be a horrible, miserable place to work. And like you, in that sense, I stopped working for her. I don't care. I had to stop. I was like, I cannot. Once I got another guy, I'm like, I can't work for you anymore. They would call, but she loved working. I'm like, nope, I can't do it. Sorry, I'm booked. That's how I played.
So you feel it, yeah.
Because I didn't want retribution for my wife either, because she would bring my wife in. And these casting directors are funky like that. Like, I stopped working for one casting director. My wife had booked 5 national commercials through her. She was a good person to bring in for her, right? And she would look good bringing my wife in. She never brought her in again once I stopped working for her. So I'm not going to name this person because she still brings in my wife for stuff. So I was like, because casting directors, you run the session, they got monitors in their office, they're watching your session. So I knew, I was like, oh my God, she's going to come in on this one person in here. Because she wasn't doing anything. First of all, she looked like the damn storyboards, this actress. She looked like the storyboards. I'm like, they're going to love you, right? but she couldn't. She was such a sweet person. She was so nice. And that's all she could do. She couldn't really show the tension at first and then have somewhere to go to show the niceness. She was just nice to nice. Like there's no arc there. And you got to show us something. And we did like 3 takes. Nothing was changing. And I was like, and this is fairly early on with me directing sessions. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and I just didn't want this casting director running through here and blowing up my whole thing and just causing tension. So I was like, okay. Because every time I give her direction, she was like, got it. Okay.
And then nothing would change.
So I was like, hey, are you taking acting classes? She was like, yeah, I'm studying it. So-and-so, so-and-so. Stalinofsky or whatever the fuck it is, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, you're wasting your money. I told her that. Mm. Which is really mean-spirited. And I'm not a mean person.
That ain't mean-spirited if it's true.
But I was like, you're wasting your money. And she was like, so I said, you can't act. And her face turned red. She started getting upset. And I realized, fuck.
That's the look.
This is where we want her to start, right? And I'm like, okay. Let's just roll right now. And we rolled, and it was great. And I was like, I was blown away because at that moment I was like, fuck. Like acting, like, because my wife can cry on cue, right? But it's real tears. Mm-hmm. Like it's real emotion. So she can't just turn it off. Like she has to come out of it, right? But this woman got really upset at that moment. And I was like, fuck, I like got her to that place.
Sometimes you got to do that as the director, though.
Which was kind of weird. I tried to do it with JD that one time, and he was like, I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, but that's literally what they teach us at school. Kid you not, like sometimes you got to be like, what you got, right? And they literally.
And so no one taught me that, right? I just kind of saw it that moment, and I was like, whoa, like that was amazing. And I mean, we hugged it out afterwards. And I'm like, I am so sorry, but I didn't know what else to do. But I hope you get the call back, right? She gets the call back, right? Paul Hunter's in the room. The ad agency is in the room. And Paul and me were cool at this point. Like, we were just cool because I've done so many callbacks with him. And she comes in the room, and you could even, when they like someone because the ad agency people are like, oh, yeah. Whispering. And she looked like the fucking storyboard. So they run her through her audition. Saying did the nice thing to nice thing. A to B, nice person, right? Paul gave her some direction. She's like, yep, okay, got it.
Still didn't.
Couldn't get to that place. And so they're like, okay, thank you. Great job. She walks out. They're like, we don't know what happened. And like, her original audition was just so much better. And I'm in there like, to myself, yep, I did that.
Shaming works.
I did the original audition, so.
Shaming works.
Well.
No, yeah. I don't care how you say it. Shaming works. Shaming works.
There is something, like, how can you get somebody to a certain point? Like
shame.
What?
Shame.
It wouldn't just be shame. It wouldn't just be shame. It's like, how do you, like, there's a scene in Clicker with JD where do you remember what happened when I tried to get JD to that spot? Okay, I'm going to refresh your memory because it is. So I'm just like,
I know it was happening.
I'm going to pull off I'm going to just try and embarrass him because JD's, he don't want to be embarrassed, so I'm going to be a dick to him, right? And I'm not a dick, right? But I needed him to get to an emotional place, right? And I said to him, I was like, we let him run a couple times. I'm like, no, man, that ain't good enough, man. It ain't good enough, dude. I don't believe you. And I'm like, I don't believe you. This is bullshit. Mm-hmm. And I just went more extreme than I've ever went with him.
I think I remember that.
And I'm like, man, what the fuck, man? Like, this is bullshit. You're a great singer. Is that all you want to be known as? Like, it's like, but then he says, I'm not an actor. And I'm like, I know you're not an actor. It's obvious you're not acting because this sucks. I don't believe you. This is bullshit. And he's like, he blew me up. He was like, I know she's trying to do. He's like, you're too nice, dude. This ain't even you. He blew me up. Mm-hmm. And then Eric Roberts just like, I talked to, no, first it was Karen Tolliver, our script supervisor, just like, Michael, no.
I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember
you know, and I'm like, Karen, why'd you gotta jump in on this? Because she's like, you just gotta bring him to a sad place. She's trying to tell me how to get him to a place. And I'm like, oh, Karen, don't do this, but go on, say what you want to say. And then Eric Roberts is like, well, let me talk to him, right? Mm-hmm. He takes him out of range, and he's on a hot mic, so I'm still hearing what he's telling him. He's like, listen. Is your mom still alive? And JD's like, yeah. He's like, so just imagine the person you hate the most is fucking your mom and you walk in on him. This is what he says to her.
Eric Roberts is a wild
Eric
man.
Roberts says this to JD. And JD starts laughing because he's just like, this is the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Wild
you
boy.
telling me, like, you know, so that didn't work either. So he just finally, he comes in and he's just like, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, I want you to like fucking grimace or some shit. Like, you know, you're holding that gun up there, just fucking get enraged, like shake or some shit. And, you know, we got what we got from it, right? You know, it is what it is. He couldn't tap into it, but yet, you know, because it's a trust thing. Like to be able to, I don't like being in front of the camera. I hate that shit.
What was the Unk name in there?
The character name or the actual
the actual
Concrete.
Concrete. He did his thing. Concrete did it. He did his thing in that. He sold that scene.
Concrete sold every scene.
Yeah, he did that shit.
Concrete is a social media dude, right? Like he was kind of like, you know, Jimmy was like, I want Concrete in it, and we were Concrete and Duno. We were so blessed to have these natural gifted people. Were like, I was just like, fuck, Concrete crushed every scene. Duno just was so authentic and real in his shit. It was just like that. It just elevated JD. And JD, we started off, you remember, even just think back, we weren't doing a lot of lines with him at first. You know, but once he got comfortable with the process, like when we reshot the club scene, he's like, well, this is, I'd be like, you Angelo's new boy? Yeah, I'm Cheeto. Like, before we didn't even have him say that. He was like, well, I'll let him know. No, man, yeah, I am, but I'm Cheeto. I have a name, too. I'm not just Angelo's new boy. Like, he started bringing it, and it was just like he got comfortable with the process, and to see that happen was just amazing.
It's only up from here, man. It's only up from here.
I hope so.
That was his first time.
That was, I mean, he is our Eminem. He is our Eminem.
Yeah, for 8 Mile.
I told everybody, I will put JD up against Eminem any day of the week on the acting chops because we played to his strengths. And when you talk about someone who just could take his eyeballs and just move from here to there and express the world to you, that's JD. Also, he's so expressive.
Be good people too, man. Like, he was a pleasure to work with. He wasn't an asshole. I hear so many stories. Well, nah, they was an asshole. They were this. They were a diva. He was really cool. Like, he wasn't no diva. He was really cool.
He got frustrated a couple times.
Hey, not with us. It might have been with you.
No, you were there. He got frustrated.
Like, tell me what I got to do.
We were in Yuba City.
Yeah.
And we're shooting the busker scene, right? And it's hot as fuck. And we had him there early.
He was mad at the heat, not us.
He was mad. He was just like, damn, y'all, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
It's still a pleasure to be with, though.
No, it was true. But see, the thing was, I just had to give him a lens to look through. And I just put him to the side. And I was like, hey, man, I know what you're saying. And maybe we got you here a little too early. Okay. But we're not just running these blocking rehearsals just for you. We're actually, a lot of it's for the ACs, for the camera operators, because we got to figure out, like, there's a lot of moving pieces in this, but it's not just you. And he was like, oh shit. He was like, I appreciate you. He was like, I appreciate you telling me that.
He gonna go a long way.
He was like, yeah, I'm good, and I appreciate that.
Just off of that, like, because he understands that. You just explain it to him, tell him what you need, and he gonna try to do it to his best of his ability. Like, I like him as a person.
He was great.
Yeah, I like him as a person.
And then it was so funny because we were doing his voiceover, and we were doing, we did it in English. So Clicker is a story told through a voiceover narrative, and it's our lead, JD, who plays Cheeto. And so he tells the story. He's telling us, like, Goodfellas style, right? You know, he's telling us the story, giving us context. So we had him do the voiceover in Spanish too, because they're definitely putting this in Mexico. They're definitely putting this in the big markets where he's bigger in Mexico than he is in the United States. He's big down there, and Colombia. And so we did a Spanish version. But to do the Spanish version, I don't speak Spanish, right? We had Laura come in. Laura from Rancho. Shout out to Laura from Rancho. Like, she came in and she interpreted all the English, rewrote it in Spanish, and then was there when we were actually recording it. And he was cutting up in the recording because he was comfortable
in
with
his
us
natural,
at this point. Cracking jokes, busting on me, whatever it was, right? We're having fun, right? And Laura's like, I've never seen this side of JD. And he'd been working with them for years at this point, 5-6 years at this point. He's one of their top artists. And she's like, and she worked directly with him. And she's like, I've never seen him.
That set became a movie. That set became a family. Like, it was really family. Like, I could see them out in public and not even on this, and I guarantee you it'll be the same love.
It is.
I can see Rebel out in the streets. It'll be the same look. Like, it was really family. It was like family.
And he probably, for me, two things that he did was, one, and this is what Jimmy recognized from jump. Jimmy's like, he knows JD wants to work with someone he's comfortable around, first and foremost. And he pinpointed that from jump. And he asked him, you comfortable with Michael and Skeeter? Right? And he apparently was when we did that test scene. But he also said, with Jimmy in the room, because Jimmy, when we were going through, screening some of it, he asked JD in front of everybody, hey, man, you want to do another one? And JD was like, I'm down to do another one. He was like, but he was like, I want to work with these guys.
It's a family.
He's like, I want to work with them because I'm comfortable with them. And to me, that was huge, like, getting some flowers like that, because we did work through. I mean, it wasn't easy. It was tough. And for him to learn, he just got thrown into it, like, learn the language of being an actor. And it's a process to it.
It was really like some I got the hookup type shit. Like, when I see this, like them hood classics, I really get like a hood classic vibe from this movie that we shot. It's going to be like one of those baller blocking, I got the hookups, the 8 miles, just like the artist.
Belly.
I hope so, man.
Belly
was a music video to me. Belly was just a long music video, which is crazy though, because visually I thought Belly was fucking amazing, right? But once you got past the
Hype
visuals,
Williams. Yeah, it was Hype Williams.
I mean, I think it was like a music video, an extended music video. There was some cool ass shots. I'm not gonna lie. Some of this stuff was beautiful. And to see, I loved how he used certain, like, recording artists, like Method Man was in that joint. Like, but Method Man, he's like our concrete or whatever. Like, he's natural in front of the camera. Aging
gracefully too.
He's killing.
Yeah, they were just at Hot 97, and he was like, he'll never perform there again because this generation they ain't have enough energy for him. Yeah, it's a huge age gap. And it's like, don't nobody listen to that Wu-Tang shit, respectfully, though. Like, in 2024, I'm going to just be honest. But
the younger
you just eye candy now, Method Man. You look amazing.
People just know him as an actor now.
And nobody want to hear that music.
That's like LL Cool J now. A lot of people only know LL as an actor.
I still bump that doing it and doing it and doing it well. Like, he still got bangers. Method Man only got that one with Mary J. Blige that will bump. You're All I Need. I'm gonna be honest. Like, we ain't bumping no Method Man.
Damn. Okay.
I'm just saying. But yeah, we about to wrap this up though. Thank you for coming on. Is there anything you want to plug or anything? Share with us. Drop before we wrap this bad boy up.
Yes, I will say this. So this is what I told all my kids, because I know that you guys are a little bit younger, and this is what I told them from jump. Do what you love, and the money will follow. Mm-hmm. Just find something you love, because we are your generation. Especially my generation is the first generation where we have to rely on 401k plans. Mm-hmm. I cashed that shit in after Reebok. I worked for Reebok for a couple of years too.
LA Film cashed mine out too.
Cash it out, because I mean I needed the money at that point, right? So do what you love, because you're gonna be doing it for a long time. Mm-hmm. And what is retirement?
I look at it.
What is retirement?
I look at
Ask Clint Eastwood. What's retirement? Because Clint Eastwood is like 90, and that dude's still directed.
He still out here?
He was in Macho, Cry Macho, or some shit. Now he shouldn't.
The property taxes must be high as hell if he's still out here working.
No, because he's a great storyteller, but he did not need to be acting in the lead of that. I would just say that, because first of all, he's playing someone who's in their 60s, and he literally looked like he was wearing a Depends walking around. It was bad. It was like, dude, if he got in a fist
that's
fight.
Hate. That's hate.
No, but he got in a fight in the movie, like where he's fighting some dude in his 40s, and I'm like, dude, first of all, if you would have punched him for real, your whole arm would have crumpled and broke, and then he would have laughed at you, and then he would have hit you one time, and your whole shit would have caved in. Like, to me, it was so unbelievable. But I asked my mom about that, because I was like, Mom, did you see? She's like, yeah, I loved seeing Clint Eastwood. And I was like,
the ladies love Clint.
Damn, I'm like,
he's the original LLC. If you really think about it, he's the original. He's the original LL Cool J. Ladies love Clint LLC. He's the original LLC. Ladies love Clint. I don't know about you.
No, they do. And my mom first she ever admitted to crushing on was fucking what's his name? He had a beard.
De Niro.
No,
they love De Niro too.
They do love De Niro. Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
My mom was
Walker,
like,
Texas Ranger.
Chuck Norris is kind of hot. I was like, Mom.
Yeah, they love
what?
him.
But so your generation, you got to do what you love, because you're not. There is no such thing as retirement.
I feel you.
So just love what you do.
Yeah, I was seeing this, and we gonna wrap it up. I just saw this like 98-year-old woman. She was doing gymnastics, and one of the comments was like, "She the reason why the damn retirement age went up to 75 or something like that." And I just thought that was hilarious, because she's really like 98 and still getting it in.
Is your mom retired?
No, she still works. She's like 60, 63.
Mm-hmm. My dad is 83 and still has his own business, and I am convinced if my dad walked away from that, he would die, because he loves what he does. My mom's retired, but they got to work for the state and for the city, or not state and universities and stuff like that. They got pensions.
Yeah,
I got into a wreck recently with a 91-year-old. Like, he hit me, like sideswiped me, and I was at fault for that apparently. But I was like, damn. When I saw his license, I'm like, bro, you're 91. I wasn't even mad about the wreck anymore. I'm like, bro, I still want to be moving and mobile at 91. Like, he's driving his lady around and shit. They like both old. Yeah, you over here causing wrecks and shit, but shit, you up. Like, even when he got out the car, he was like wobbling and shit. But I'm like, bro, you out here still mobile though. Like, that's I want to be that. That's what I aspire to be at my age. Like, just mobile.
You gotta, you have to do what you love. Mm-hmm. Period. And what you're doing, that AC route, maybe that's not what you do forever, right? But man, if you can get in the union, and because those unions do have pensions. My wife she's vested in a pension with SAG, right? And still, adding to it. So I don't have shit. Yeah. When I retire, I got Social Security from my earlier garment days on the W-2.
And that's when they make us feel like shit about this. But that's another topic, too. That's like you doing all that. That's when the 9-to-5ers that actually go in and, like, build in for their 401k, that's when they look at us and, like, y'all sitting up there wasting your time. You ain't got nothing to live for after that. You done did all that work for what afterwards? Like,
no, I'm going to be still storytelling for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm like, someone said to Mel Brooks, it's like, when are you going to retire? He's like, retire from what? He's like, I'm not a manual laborer.
Yeah.
It's all in here.
That's true.
I just want to keep.
This isn't a job, really. When you think about like this, I never consider it like a job. Like,
But you even said on Skeeter's thing, you were like, it didn't feel like work.
Yeah.
When we were doing Clicker.
Yeah, it didn't, and it didn't. And it's like, as long as it continue to feel like this, I'm in it. But the moment it start feeling like a job, I don't know, man. Might as well get a 9 to 5 around here.
Well, that's a good point though, because then at that point, like, what is it that you're really? I might just tell you, it goes.
I want
fast.
more time.
Time goes fast.
That's what I'm doing. I
Life
want more
goes
time.
fast. I mean, I swear to God, I had kids young. I was a teenage dad, right? So, and I got married young.
Me too.
But I cannot believe you didn't get married. I got married. I got
married at 24. That's young.
Oh shit. 24 Club.
Yeah,
24
like
Club.
the fuck?
No, so I literally knew my wife for 6 months. I knew right out the gates. Asked her to
Yeah.
marry me in 6 months.
Yeah, maybe under a year. And we've been together ever
asked her to
since.
marry me, and we have, and it is, but it goes so fast. I cannot believe. I don't feel old.
Me either. I
Or
still feel like a
older,
kid.
I should say older.
Yeah, I feel like a kid still. I don't
You are
know.
a kid, dude. You are.
No,
a kid.
but I feel
You are.
childish still. Like, damn, I got little nieces still growing up, and I'm looking like, bro, I can still TikTok with y'all. Get the fuck up out of here, you know?
I got to say this last thing. So I fell into this golf group when I first moved out here, when I wasn't in the industry, and all these dudes were the original writers from the original Twin Peaks. Like, and it's the coolest, chillest guys you ever meet. All of them in their 60s, a little bit older than 60. And I think I had just hit like 40 and was like, fuck, I'm 40 years old.
What am I doing with myself?
They looked at me like, fuck you, motherfucker. 40? Fuck you. I would give my fucking left leg to be 40 again. That's how they looked at me like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking like in my 60s.
That never stops.
Hollywood doesn't give a fuck about me at this point. I got credits. I wrote movies with David Lynch, you know, and he gave me, and that guy in particular gave me Robert Ingalls, Bob Ingalls, gave me the best advice, and I'll leave it at this. I said, man, what is the path that I should take to make it in Hollywood? Like, because you were on a path. He was like, everybody's path is different. So he's like, I can't even tell. I could tell you what my path was, but you can't do my path. And when he told me that shit, I was like, fuck. I was like, yeah, that's it. You just got to carve your own path.
That is true. That is so true. Everyone can eat, everybody. Everyone can eat, man. It's been a amazing episode. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on.
Is this live?
No.
Okay, y'all cut it. Okay.
Yeah, no. We're not cutting. We still on right now. But we finna wrap it up, though. You want to plug anything?
Nothing to really plug right now. We good right now. Oh yeah, we're gonna drop some merch. We got some merch. I need to get y'all the Says merch off of the site. It'll be right
tagged. There you go.
You know
What's
what I'm
y'all's
saying?
favorite podcast?
I listen to Brilliant Idiots. I listen to the Joe Budden podcast because like those just my main two, and I listen to the Breakfast Club.
It's like the 5150 show, Brilliant Idiots, and
I really like Brilliant Idiots because Andrew Schultz like it. I just like to see his progression throughout this whole thing. Like, he's big deal now.
I'm drawing a blank right now. But they talk. It's the entrepreneur. You talk about all the entrepreneurs. I just listened to it.
But the real estate people,
No,
they ain't hitting on nothing if you don't remember.
I just can't think of the name.
Sisters Who Kill.
Sisters Who Kill. Is that like a true crime podcast? Okay.
Yep, it's these two, but you got to start from the beginning.
You ain't gotta
Listen to
tell
that
me.
progression.
I also listen to my friend podcast too, Behind the Likes, but I don't even know why I shouting her shit out because they got the followers already.
Sisters Who
Goddamn.
Kill is like the #1 true crime podcast on Spotify, but it's just these two black women that basically tell you stories about black women who have been convicted of murder.
I'm definitely gonna go check it out.
And it's fucking wild to me. I'm like, and I love how they tell the stories, right? Like they just so I get lost in that stuff because to me, I'm like, damn, that'd make a good script.
And you a little
Like,
Dahmer, huh?
damn.
A little Dahmer.
No, it's not even that.
Okay.
No, they got some crazy. They got some crazy people, but it's more like you see they're taking you back into the 1800s, 1900s. I'm listening to
I don't
one
need to go
where
that
it's-
far.
No, but no, just
Just to
it's
hear how the
random.
human mind works.
No, but it's random
Yeah.
because you see, because they're pointing out the injustice that we're happening to people too. You know,
We in a movie. I'm in a couple movies actually, but
Oh, Cliff's the actor. You should get my guy here for some work if you ever want. Cast him.
but
Do some
we
casting
waiting on
stuff.
Zach to
Yeah.
some-
Yeah, that was the set I was talking about.
are you repped?
No, I'm not right now. And that's why I said I need to talk to you about that. We
Get a
gonna talk.
commercial agent. I'll tell you. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, we gonna connect. All right, man. So we out here. It's been a lovely day. I'm gonna chop this. The way this episode was, I can actually chop this up in a different way.
Okay.
Because you didn't touch on. We gonna work some things out. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna really
Work the
edit
things
this
out.
one. I usually just let the podcast flow. But with this one, I can actually create a story with it. Let's put this in the front.
Storytell.
Yeah, actually edit this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we out here. This has been a lovely podcast. Thank you for coming on and being on
Thanks for having
time.
me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Thanks
for having me.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you for having us because you came with gems and all that. We just a fly on the wall. My guy here is Zach. Thank you for coming through on time too, man. We out here. It's been a lovely day.
All right.
I just wanna free my mind.